most Nigerians till today do not even realize that Israelis are Jews.
All right. So here's Danny V, and I'm very interested, been interested in Judaism around the world, and I've been wanting to go to Nigeria for a long time. I've been hearing a lot about Nigerian Judaism, Nigerian Jews. Just want to have you first introduce yourself,
Okay.
and we'll go through it.
Okay, my name is Desmond Onduna Salom. So I'm a Nigerian Jew. I am from the Tiv ethnic group of Nigeria. We are from northern, the mid-northern part of Nigeria, and my people are largely Christian. That's my ethnicity, but I left Christianity about 5 years ago. Then I picked up Judaism. I was first Messianic before graduated in my beliefs and my knowledge, and I picked up uh, Torah Judaism in Hope. So at the moment, I am a practicing Jew. I'm Shomer Shabbat, I eat kashrut, kosher, and yes, those are the basic things. I am not from the Igbo Jewish community because I'm not even Igbo by ethnicity. Nigeria has over 250 ethnic groups. So it's sometimes there's a confusion when we have like there was one time I met a very good friend of mine called Dwight, this Ashkenazi, and when we first met, he had the assumption that every Nigerian Jew was Igbo because mostly when you hear about Nigerian Jews, you hear about the Igbo community. So a lot of people think every Jew in Nigeria is Igbo, but that's not the case. I'm not even from the same like geographical geopolitical zone as the Igbos, but we're very close. I have a lot of Igbo friends myself, Jewish and non-Jewish, but we have a different ethnicity. We have Jews from Akwa Ibom, we have Jews from Urobo, the Urobo ethnic group. I've heard that I've heard that there are Jews from the far north, Hausa Jews, like a family, not like a community, a family of Hausa Jews. So I've not met them because Nigeria is very large and we are the most populated country in Africa. So it's not like you could just hop and meet anyone you want. So today, when I meet like for when I meet some Igbo Jews or some Jews that are from communities in Nigeria, they are surprised to meet me, a Tiv Jew. I have a very good friend of mine. His name is Baruch. So he makes Jewish attire like talit, mezuzot, the talit katan, gadol, kippah. They make all those things, and he's Igbo. So when we first met, I wanted to make some purchase. I wanted to buy a talit gadol, which was my first talit gadol and my first kippah. And then, he wanted to make sure I wasn't like messianic. So because he was very surprised, he was excited to meet me. I was really surprised how excited he was because he's never heard of a teen Jew in his life being in Nigeria. So I myself personally have never met another teen Jew. So in my ethnic group, we don't have a community. In my state, I'm the only Jew. Hopefully, with time, there will be a growth and a spark of Jews, that will come up in our path. What we do have
Amen.
in my region and what we have in West Africa in general, is a Hebrew-centric culture. I, I don't know how to put it. Like we have traditions and cultures that are very biblical like. You get me?
Mhm.
So we don't have. That's why the other time when we were discussing online on Facebook, I was telling you like it's not to use the term Jews or Jewish for a lot of African Jewish communities today to say we have like an ancient Jewish practice. It's not really accurate for me. I would say more. It was more of like a Hebrew. We have more of a Hebrew, an Israel-centric history. You know what I mean? Like we, for instance, circumcision on the eighth day. This is not something that was taught to us by Christian missionaries. A lot of people might think, oh, well, it's the missionaries came and but the Christian missionaries didn't teach us circumcision because Christianity does not care about circumcision.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of things we learn from uh, the Christian missionaries, but like circumcision. Uh, if, for instance, I'm the first son of my parents. Let's say I get married and I don't have a child yet, then I tragically pass away, untimely death. My younger brother is then to have a child with my wife in my honor, and then the child will be named after, the child takes my name, not his. So kind of like, a mitzvah that's in
Mhm.
the Torah.
Mhm.
This is a tradition that we find in the Igbo ethnic group, we find it in the Tiv ethnic group, we find it in other Bantu ethnic groups all around Africa. Also, not something we learned from missionaries, but I will get to that. I would like to like tell you a bit more about my ethnic group in
Mhm.
particular because I can't speak very much about the Igbo ethnic group, even though I know a lot, but I don't want to like say so much. I can it would be better if you like get in contact with an Igbo Jew to give you the history of his people. I don't want
Mhm.
to be doing that. So, but I would like to give you history about my people and tell you a lot of the things that we do, that we have been doing, a lot of history that we have that is like straight out of the Torah. When you hear the story, it's just like, where have I heard this before? So, but as for me, right now I live in Makodi. It's the capital of Benue State. I'm from Benue State. I live in Makodi, and I'm a farmer. I have a small farm with some animals, mostly birds. Yeah, that's basically who I am. Nothing too exciting. I do a lot of studying on my own. Yeah, I do a lot of studying. I watch. I try a lot to. I'm motivated when I listen to a lot of like interesting, captivating shows. Like I listen to Rabbi Alon and Rabbi Alon. I just I love his teaching. There's something about him. He doesn't. He doesn't have like. If I compare Rabbi Alon and Abba with Rabbi Yaron, Reuven, it's like water and fire. Rabbi Yaron, I love him because when he teaches about the genome, and then he teaches about a lot of things that are serious, like prohibition against wasting seed,
Mhm.
for instance. When he talks about things like that, he teaches them with so much vigor and fire, and it's like you're on your feet. But when you
Mm.
listen to Alon and Ava, it's like water. He talks in a very calm voice, but then he gets the message across. So I really started when I started listening to Jewish teaching
Mhm.
from Jewish rabbis. Because you need to understand, I was born Catholic and I grew up in Nigeria. Nigeria is a Muslim Christian country.
Mhm.
Now there used to be more Muslims. There used to be more Christians rather in Nigeria, like 70%. Now it's 50-50% between Christianity and Islam. And I was born into a Catholic family, very religious, very religious. I wanted to be a priest since I was a boy. I love clergy work. So I would like memorize a lot of the Latin phrases that a priest would say. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the Catholic it's one thing. Another thing I got to discover when I became Jewish, the first day I entered the synagogue, I noticed it was very similar to like a Catholic mass.
Really?
Like, you know, the Catholic, yeah, it's very similar because
Hmm.
it's very organized. You know, it's very organized. The Catholic Mass is organized. It's not like a Protestant or a Pentecostal church service. A Pentecostal church service is like music, dancing, jumping, singing. The Catholics, they're like very organized. The women modestly dressed. The priest comes in. There is a big crucifix, and then the altar boys take it up, and then there's a gospel reading. Then they
Mm-hmm.
read from the Old Testament as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of like how we enter the synagogue and then we take out the separate Torah,
Mm-hmm.
then we read the Torah, and then we read the Haftarah.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like something that I got to realize, and it's interesting to me to see how much the Catholic Church just copied from place. You
Mm.
know, just like it's like perverted. It's Jewish tradition just turned upside down, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just someone who has been Catholic before will understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So as a Catholic, I was very as a Catholic I was very intrigued. I told you the other time I improved my reading skill by reading the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I find it very interesting. I remember always I was always more interested by the what we called at the time the Old Testament,
Mm-hmm.
the Tanakh.
Tanakh. Mm-hmm.
I love the stories, all the stories in the Tanakh. I love the stories about David and his men, the mighty men of David. You know, I love reading of how they fought against their enemies, and then they had all this supernatural, superhuman ability. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Abishai using us bring down 100 men, and Shemaiah killing the giants that sought to take David's life and stuff like that. And from there, I sort of like drifted away from Catholicism
Mm-hmm.
and then headed towards uh, the Protestant church. So the Protestant church was where I started gaining more biblical knowledge because the Catholic Church does not really encourage biblical study like that. You go to a Catholic church, you don't need to take a copy of your Bible. You just
Mm.
buy the bullet, buy the bulletin, and
Mm-hmm.
then whatever portion of the Bible that's supposed to be read that on that Sunday is written on the bulletin. So
Mm.
as a Catholic, I did not have the I did not have like the kind of zeal. I had the zeal, but I didn't have the culture of
Mm-hmm.
studying the Bible the way I did when I became a Protestant. So from there, I started discovering all this as a Christian, as a Protestant. I started discovering the problems with the Catholic Church,
Mm-hmm.
idolatry, them having all the idols, the statues of angels and
Mm-hmm.
biblical figures, and saints. And then later on, I was, you know, more drawn to the charismatic nature of the Pentecostal
Mm-hmm.
movement, of the miracles and the healing and the singing.
Mm-hmm.
Then years passed, and I got more and more interested in what the Bible actually said and what the traditions that we were used to teaching. Because it gets to a point. I have Muslims in my family, and then I have Muslim friends.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, for years, I always would sometimes I would ponder between Christianity and Islam, and
Mm-hmm.
then I would try to like understand what is really the issue. Because in Nigeria, we have a problem of like religious crisis. We have extremists, and they're always on the Muslim side. You know, Christians. One thing I like about Christians, is, at least from my part of the world, Christians will not beat you up. They're not believing in what they believe. They won't kill you,
Mm-hmm.
even if you insult their God. But you know, in Islam, it's a different case.
Mm-hmm.
You can get licked for if you're accused of insulting the Prophet Muhammad in northern Nigeria, regardless of what religion you are, you're probably going to get killed or something.
Mm.
So the violent Islam, the violent nature of Islam really made me detach myself from it. I was attracted to Islam because I was attracted in the oneness, the belief in like the oneness belief of God, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the unity. And then I was attracted to the discipline in the religion, the discipline of waking up early in the morning to go to the mosque to pray, wash your hands and feet each time you wanted to pray,
Mm-hmm.
to face a particular direction each time you wanted to pray. It was something I admired about was
Mm-hmm.
discipline. But I, even though I admired all those things about them, I knew that Islam was not the true message from the Almighty because to me, at the point in time, I stopped going to church. I wasn't identifying as Pentecostal or Protestant or anything, but I still kept my Bible. I still
Mm-hmm.
studied my Bible a whole year without identifying with any religion on my own. And this is the thing. All throughout this time, I never had any because at the beginning I would try to meet a priest, meet a pastor
Mm-hmm.
to get some explanation. Why don't we keep the Sabbath? It's just remember the Sabbath,
Right.
the holy. Why aren't you?
Right.
And then you get confusion. I actually would even get some pastors telling me that Sunday is Sabbath. I just like no man. You can Google it. Sunday is the first day of the week.
Right.
But a lot of people actually think Monday is the first day of the week. It's it's baffling that I
Mm-hmm.
had to argue this with some. I was like, no, Sunday is the first day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So the last day is Saturday. And then I don't give up. I stopped asking for explanations from Christians or clergy. I wanted to study on my own and see if I could communicate with people that had higher education on this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I started utilizing the internet, and then I kept studying more of the Old Testament because at
Mm-hmm.
this point I don't even I'm still using my Christian Bible, my King James,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't even know Judaism is the real religion at this point.
Uh-huh.
I've never in my life never heard of Jews in Nigeria.
Uh-huh.
I'm in
Wow.
my 20s. Yes. I'm in my early 20s. I've never heard of anything, about Judaism anywhere.
Mm.
We always heard Nigerian Christians are very pro Israel.
Mm.
Very pro Israel. They will join the idea like that if you give them a chance.
Wow.
They don't even want to they don't even know who you are fighting. If you fight Israel, you're definitely an enemy of Nigerian Christians. So growing up as a Nigerian
Mm.
Christian, we knew about the state of Israel, we knew about the Israelis, but we did not know most Nigerians till today do not even realize that Israelis are Jews. Please like and subscribe and click on one of the videos above for more.